The first game is going to be a Cleveland game. And this is where the Niners went there in mid-October, and they were 5-0, and the three-game losing streak started. The reason we're going to highlight this game is incredible route running ability against maybe the best secondary and trio of corners, a Jim Schwartz-type defense. But this was the game where he didn't have Deebo Samuel. He got hurt literally in the first play of the game with a hairline fracture of his scapula. Then later in the game, he got pushed out of bounds. Trent Williams played, but he wasn't himself in the game. And Christian McCaffrey had an oblique injury and one other that really did take him out of the game, and he barely made the Minnesota game. So in this game, you're not going to have Christian, you're not going to have Deebo. We'll find out in the next hour or so about George if he's going to be able to go. So this game illustrates the way you have to lean on a target like Brandon Ayuk, which I think they do in this game. So Brandon Ayuk in this game, John, had 4 catches for 76 yards. He had a long at 33. We'll play that one. And his coming out party in the NFL was the pandemic year of 2020. Remember on the Sunday night game when he jumped over Marcus Epps of Philadelphia and scored a touchdown? He's going to give you a little Skeets Nehemiah in this game. This is Brandon Ayuk against Cleveland. 2 different plays last October. Trent Williams returns. Thought he had a bad right ankle sprain, but Trent's back in. Here's a bootleg to Purdy rolling left. Wide open is Ayuk over the middle. He's got it 45 midfield down the Cleveland sideline. Hurdles a man that dives out of bounds. He jumps right over Martin Emerson Jr., the corner, like he did Marcus Epps as a Philadelphia Eagle back in 2020. He just couldn't stick the landing. Shotgun, Purdy back. Garrett a 360 spin. Throw to Ayuk. Ayuk goes middle, 40. Ayuk to midfield. Ayuk all the way to the Cleveland 41-yard line. What a run by Brandon Ayuk. Just ran right through the middle of their defense. All right, the first play, they run an over route here where you start Brandon Ayuk tight to the left, and he runs across the entire formation. Cleveland's got great corners, John, but it's really difficult to cover an over route like that. And then what do you say about Ayuk? He's 6 feet, got really long legs. He's got long arms. Those arms stretch out like he's 6'9", and he's 6'1". So how do you cover him here? The flow goes the other way. They're all in chase. He just beats him off the snap. If you feature him on over routes like this, and the Rams don't have corners, look at that jump, and he sticks the landing. If you don't have corners like Cleveland, and the Rams do not with Tre'Davious White, it's difficult to cover a guy like Brandon Ayuk, who's a great athlete, great body control. So on a simple over route, you can do that a lot. Here's the play at the end of the game, a whip route, where, again, he starts in like he's running a slant or an in cut, and then he whips it outside. And this is why he's a charter member. When they drafted him in the first round of 2020, he became a yak broer, just like Deebo and George. When he made this catch, and a good block there on Myles Garrett by Trent, and Trent didn't play great that game, but he got that block there. And he ran right through the entire Cleveland secondary, got to the third level and the safety level, and this is the big play of the game that set him up to get into field goal range. So with Brandon Ayuk, and you see him again here on that over route earlier against the Rams, they're going to run a lot of cover 4. This is a Vic Fangio defense coordinated by Chris Shula. You run these over routes, whether it's against man, this is zone, hard to cover. You can't cover over routes. The hardest thing for elite corners to do is to chase across the field. This one is the route running ability that improved last year, just that whip route, the change of direction, and then get upfield straight, get vertical. This set it up for our guy Jake the Make to make that 41-yard field goal, John, which he did not do. But that Ayuk play there did get you in range to do it. So that's an over route, a whip route. We'll show some ones later on against Seattle and against Tampa where they got him deep. I think this is a game where you have to feature Brandon Ayuk. This game we're highlighting is because McCaffrey did play, but he was not Christian in this game. Oblique injury.
And no Deebo.
Deebo did. First play of the game, he went out with a hairline fracture. Then there was a play later in the half where they shoved him out of bounds on the 8th snap over by the bench, and he got hurt. And Trent was also compromised. This is the game they got into at pregame with Juan Thornhill of Cleveland, and they got pushing and shoving, and it's ironic that Deebo and Trent would wind up getting hurt in the game because they were in the middle of it and Ayuk. But that's the kind of special ability, whether it's a whip route here, in and out, tough to cover, quick feet for a guy with long legs like that. He can do. If he can do this against the Browns, secondary and their corners are the best in football, he can certainly do it against Tre'Davious White and the LA Rams, John.